In a world full of plastic crossover SUVs and fake engine noise, there's one car that stands alone, forgotten by time, but not by me. This is the OptiSpark, the black sheep of the ignition family, the unfortunate redheaded stepchild of the LT1 world. And today we're diving in, headfirst, probably into oil and coolant. So in the 90s, GM had this brilliant idea. Let's take a high voltage ignition system and put it right under our water pump. I mean, you gotta get it to shoehorn into the F-bodies anyways, right? And so basically, removing one of these while they're in the car is pretty much the equivalent of doing heart surgery through someone's back with a spoon. And now the OptiSpark does get a bad rap, and yes, it deserves it. But with some upgrades, cleaning, and a little bit of black magic, we can definitely make this thing reliable, or at least less unreliable.
From a durability standpoint, ABITS is a 100,000-mile system.
The early models actually did not have any way of sucking ozone out of these. A lot of people think that these fill up with oil. They do fill up with oil. These produce ozone.
Ozone is heavier than air, so it settles on the bottom of the distributor.
And it has to be directed out. That is one of the upgrades. Let's try to find, there it is. These right here. Another thing you want to watch out for is your hoses. There's going to be two hoses. You want to check all the connectors and especially this check valve right here. If any of this is clogged up or leaking, that also is not going to allow you to pull out the ozone from there, or oil or coolant, whatever gets in there. I actually have this apart right now. What we're going to do is we're going to actually take a peek inside and look at how everything looks in there. That looks pretty normal for the points. We'll get back to the cap here in a minute. Now this is your arm that is going to go around and collect your signal. This looks pretty good. Everything in here so far looks pretty good. Now here's where a lot of these can go wrong, and really I think this is the whole geniusness of this design. I actually am a big fan of the OptiSpark and its engineers.
Chuck, let's look at the components that make up ABITS. Why don't you do this one?
Thanks. You give me all the hard stuff.
What we have here, and this all looks pretty clean. I've already looked at it. You can tell I got the screws out. But this is a tone disc that actually has 365 increments in it to tell where the engine's at and to tell it where exactly to send your spark to which cylinder at which time. And the other upgrade that I did to this is I kept my old Mitsubishi photo sensor. This is one thing you want to clean out with some electrical cleaner, and as well as this tone disc, I'm going to do all that. But a lot of these aftermarket, especially the cheaper aftermarket Optis, they come with a really crappy photo sensor. This right here is kind of the key to your timing and your sanity. So I've been running this one. I pulled it out of my original distributor. So this photo sensor is 31 years old, very well made in Japan sensor, and it will stay here for as long as I have the Opti. But to anyone who has checked out my shorts, guess what? The Opti was not the problem. Let's go ahead and let's explore some other things to check before you go through all of the craziness of pulling off your water pump to see why maybe you are having a misfire or your engine is running rough. So before we go any further, your cap. Now you want to make sure that these contacts all around here are clean, as well as the one in the center. This one looks pretty dang normal. I am going to clean those up, but what we want to do is we want to take our cap and then we want to take a voltmeter and we actually want to ohm out, figure out which of these pins in here go to the pins out here, and then try to get a contact between each one of them, and then do a ohms reading and see if any of them are, you know, high ohms or anything. What happens is these have traces in there that run from each of these little pins to each of these pins. And what happens is inside of here, they can get corroded and they could start to fail. So definitely check that out. I might be doing this a little bit out of order, but one thing you do want to check is your spark plug. This can tell you exactly what cylinder you're having problems with. Well, I did find one that was completely fouled out. So the next thing I did, what you want to do is take every single one of your wires. This probably should be the first thing. And you want to take your voltmeter and then put it to the little horseshoe, the ohms reading, put it to 20K, and then check each of the ends of these. This one looks like we've got 7.62. The normal is about 3.5K to 12K per foot of ohms. That's normal. And now for anyone who is following along at home would know, what I found is we do have one here that I actually thought was going to be just completely fine, but when I ohmed it out, reads completely open. I was getting about 1 meg, but that's what you want to look for right there. That means that this wire is completely shot. You want to check that first. So basically, all of that misfiring and rough running was because of one little spark plug wire. I just wish I would have known that before I pulled the engine. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I would like to invite you all to set sail with us on our new series, Project Land Yacht, where I will be restoring my 1994 Buick Roadmaster to its former glory days. We'll be replacing every single gasket on the engine, cleaning every nut and bolt, along with the rest of the engine pieces, painting the engine, cleaning up all the engine bay. We got a new sound system from Toto to install, got some minor maintenance, a secret engine upgrade, and with enough likes, comments, and new subscribers, I might be able to finally get the roadie affectionately named Miss Elizabeth a new paint job. And you're gonna wanna come back to hear the story of just why this car is one of the most important things in the world to me, and I'll tell you the 1 in a million chance of how I actually got her. Plus, legit, you'd shit yourself if you heard how much I paid for her. I literally could have dropped this bolt from anywhere in this driveway and it would have fallen right into that coolant.
Ich heb es nicht, muss ich am mit zwei sehr